Welcome to the Deal by Me podcast, where we ask guests to tell us your story. Hello there, this is Dr. James W. Smith, your host. We seek to transform lives by encouraging and inspiring. So, when you listen to it of the Deal by Me podcast, please support this podcast with a donation or a monthly recurring amount for as little as $3. If you're viewing any of the podcasts on YouTube, please subscribe. To supporters of this podcast, we say thank you. Check out my encouraging, inspiring, and transforming books that can be found on Amazon. I'm available for speaking engagements, in person and virtual seminars. So please contact me by Facebook, X, and or LinkedIn. I have with me Tobi Ojekunle, who grew up with a curious mind and a passion for learning and personal development. Tobi moved to Germany to study electrical engineering and information technology. His passion for self improvement, personal development, and having deep, soulful conversation with people from various walks of life inspired him to start the Mirror Talk podcast. I'm thrilled to have Tobi come and share with listeners of this podcast today. So, Tobi, would you share with listeners a little about yourself and where you are located?
Yes, thank you so much, Dr. James, for that wonderful introduction. I think you've done a lot of justice to it already, but I'll add one or two sentences to that. Thank you so much, and it's a privilege to be on your podcast. My name is Tobi, like you've introduced already. I'm originally from Nigeria, and I'm currently located in Germany. I've been in Germany for around 12 years right now. I came here 2013 to study electrical engineering and IT. Did my bachelor's, my master's, and I decided to stay back to work. And I've been on that part of basically growing in my career. And at some point in my life, also, I started to hunger for, personal development and to make my life a little bit more round. So I dived into podcasting, and I guess that's why I'm here today, also speaking with you.
Okay, well, I want you to know how thrilled I am that you chose to come on the Deal by Me podcast. We've been doing this now for almost 3 years, and you will be probably my 261 episode. So I've been doing
That's
it for,
awesome.
for a while, and I'm enjoying it. Let me talk to you because your profile was interesting to me. Uh, you said you love to discuss the importance of pausing, taking a break, and reflecting on life. I think that's awesome. I really do. Uh, so, what do you mean by that when you say that? What is there something behind it that you want to say that you haven't said before?
Oh, yes. I mean, the reason why that sticks out to me and why that's like the motto for my podcast and my personal
Okay,
development journey right now is
okay.
because growing up for me it was like go 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 go, and you make a lot of mistakes on the way,
Mm-hmm.
but then I gradually started to learn the importance of just pausing, of waiting, of not just waiting, but purposely or intentionally reflecting back on what you have done on your side. Just take a break, stop for a minute, and
Mm,
think about what you've done so far, and the mistakes, the flaws that you've made, the lessons you've learned, and
okay.
how you could use that to improve your life. So that's why at a point in my life that lesson came to me, and that's why I'm sticking to that right now.
Okay.
Intentionally
Okay.
pausing, intentionally, yeah, taking a break and reflecting on life.
All right. I like that. I can feel where you are. And I also like the title of your podcast, Mirror Talk. You know, that's to me, as I reflect on that, it's somewhat like you see what you're talking. Okay. I'm not sure that I got this right, but it's saying a lot to me. And so I want to know. how you got there? What caused you to start that type of podcast? And maybe I should use the word what inspired you to start the podcast Mirror Talk. I mean, I like the title, no question about it.
Yeah, thank you so much. What inspired me to start a podcast was, like you said during the introduction, my curiosity and passion for learning, improving my life. Like my mentor taught me one time, I think 3 years ago, he talked about, it's better to learn from other people's experiences, other people's, journey of life than to
Hmm.
personally make your own mistake. Making your own mistake could be costly and also could make you lose a lot of time. But learning from other people's journey, other people's experiences, other people's mistakes, gives you that speed that you need for your own journey. And that's what inspired me to start the podcast also,
Hmm.
to learn from other people's journey, other people's life. And I believe, you know, our journey in life, the things that we experience, the decisions we make in life, is like a reflection of who we are. So it's like a
Hmm.
mirror back onto us. So, and sometimes what we say, how we converse with ourselves, how we deal with ourselves, how we treat ourselves, it's like putting a mirror in front of you and you speaking back to yourself. Like if you love
Oh,
yourself,
okay.
it's going to reflect in the way you speak about yourself, in
Hmm.
the way you show up in life, and
Hmm.
in the decisions that you make for yourself also.
Okay.
And that's where the name came from, basically. Like, learn from people's life journey. You notice that you are not alone on your journey. A lot of people are going through the same thing, and some people share their story and be like, "Oh, it's like that is me." Like I'm seeing myself
Mhm.
right in the mirror
Mhm.
doing that
Okay.
kind of thing. Also, yeah,
Okay.
and yeah, and also, yeah, in the long run, also,
Hmm.
listen to other people's journey
Okay.
and listen to yourself. It's like a mirror reflecting back onto you. Yeah.
I hear you. I see what you say. So the thought pattern behind the whole podcast is that you want people to reflect, and that could be a mirror. I see what you're saying. You see yourself, and you need to reflect on what you see. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I can understand that and see exactly where you're coming from. I ask these questions because I want listeners to have a good feel for what your podcast is all about. They want to listen to it. They can say, "Oh, I need this one today because this is what I need for what I'm going through." Yeah, you understand what I'm saying? So,
Yes.
so how can uh, one have a positive mirror talks? What is that about?
Yes. Positive mirror talk is all about, I know a lot of people have heard this already in the past or still hear about it, it's making positive affirmations about yourself, like loving yourself, not being selfish, but, appreciating who you are, being grateful
Mhm.
for being alive, basically, and loving yourself, being grateful for everything that you are and what you
Okay.
have. Like, sometimes in life we focus on the negative part of life, like, oh, okay, I'm too short, I'm too this, I'm too dark, I'm too light,
Hmm.
looking at the flaws that we have. And that way it brings in some self-hatred and some negative thoughts into our lives.
Hmm.
But positive mirror talk is about looking at all those things and being grateful for them, and also being grateful for the things that are working for you. So
Hmm.
some people are out there looking for, better jobs, for example, looking for better for, opportunities out there. But there are some things that are working for them right now that they could be grateful for. And being grateful for those things, is the act of having positive mirror talk, like speaking to yourself and um, claiming the things that you want and being grateful for the things that you already have. Is about positive mirror talk. And so one of the things that also made me call the podcast mirror talk is that, when you get ready in the morning, for example, you stand sometimes in front of a mirror. For me, earlier in my life, I look into the mirror and I start to see everything that people make fun of, like, maybe how my eyes look like, or my nose, the size of my
Hmm.
ears, for example, the size
Hmm.
of my head. And you look into the mirror and be like, oh, I look so disgusting. I don't look so nice.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
then standing in front of the mirror and saying, oh, I love my nose. I love how big they are. I love my ears. I love how small they are. I love my head. I love how big it is. I'm happy that people, make fun of it. It makes people happy. I love how it is. It's proportionally sized on my head, basically, on my body, you know, changes the way that you see the flaws that you think you have.
Okay.
Looking at things that people make fun of. Oh, I'm too I'm too fat. Yeah, you're doing your work to work out, but sometimes a lot of people we are sometimes critical about, or we criticize ourselves about the way we look, our
Okay.
size, our height, whatever.
Hmm.
But if you look at it and say, I am on the journey of living an living an healthier life, but I love the way I look right now.
Okay.
I love my
Okay.
curves, I love my eyes, I love my weight, I love all the
Hmm.
flaps, I love my wrinkles.
Hmm.
That's saying those things are positive mirror talk for me, and it changes the way you see yourself. You don't
Okay.
look at yourself in the mirror and hate yourself or judge yourself, but you start to say, I'm on a positive journey, I'm making progress.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. We're gonna get back to your podcast, but I know listeners of this podcast, always a little curious about who the person is. So I want to just focus on you a little bit. I noticed that you were born in Nigeria.
Yes.
You grew up, you moved to Germany, as a matter of fact, and you went there to study electrical engineering and information technology. Are you doing any work in that area at this point? Or you
Yes.
just, okay. So
Yes.
what do you do?
So I work with a company that does microsystems. We manufacture
Okay. Okay.
like in the microsystem branch. So I do a lot of software development, and I work in the research and development department of the company, looking into software development. I'm mostly specialized into the software test automation, like building up test frameworks that
Hmm.
could ensure
Oh,
or assure the quality of our software that we produce. So
okay.
that's my day job. Yeah.
Okay, okay, okay. So, did that job have anything to do with with you wanting to begin the podcast Mirror Talk, or it was just totally separate apart from that? I guess I'm trying to find out. Sometimes we do things bored out of what we're already doing. You understand what I'm
Mm,
saying? And I was just
mm.
I'm curious to know whether or not your podcast is just something you want to do on the side, or whether it's something that you started thinking about as a result of your work that you do uh, in technology.
Yeah. I would say my career and the job I do gave birth to the podcast in some ways.
Okay.
In the sense of, like I said earlier, I came to Germany to study and I was trying to make a good life for myself, and
Hmm.
which I'm very grateful to God for right now. But at a point in my life, I started noticing that I was just going in one part, trying to study, get funds, get a job. And then I
Hmm.
noticed that the other part of my life was lacking.
Okay.
And that
Okay.
is at that point in my life, I felt that hole in my life, and I was like, okay, I need to start speaking with people. I need to start learning more. And I have people that are looking up onto me also, and I was like, I can't share anything with you because I am empty right now. So the
Hmm.
podcast was like a pipeline for me to learn and to share with people that are looking up onto me for, yeah.
Okay. Okay. I get where you're coming from. One of the things that I like to bring out when I'm talking with guests, because my podcast is about encouraging, inspiring, and transforming. And what I like to get from you is if there are listeners of this podcast who, probably feel as if they're not, well, they're not positive in life. They are very negative and they know it and they want to kind of break out of that cycle.
Mm,
Uh, they want to build a, you know, stronger and supportive community around them, which may include family, friends, whatever it is. And they find themselves kind of hard to do that. What would you say to them that would give them some encouragement and hopefully inspire them or and maybe transform them to be that kind of person that you have found yourself to be?
yeah. I would say that they've got what they need to become a better person right inside of them. They don't
Hmm.
have to search elsewhere. Um, One thing I'll say is that be intentional about your journey in life. Be
Hmm.
intentional about where you want to get to in life and have a plan set out.
Okay.
And one thing I'll also add to that is be grateful for where you are right now. I mean, there are a lot of people that are dreaming, praying to be
Hmm.
where they are, to where you are at this moment. So being grateful for that is the best starting point for me. So
Okay.
being grateful for that, and then looking ahead to say, I want to get to this point. I want to come out of this shadow. I want to come out of this dark phase of my life, being intentional about, okay, what do I need to do in order to
Hmm.
get out, in order to get more light into my life?
Mm.
Do I have to listen to deal by me podcast? Do I have to read books? Do I have to seek counseling? Do I have to reach out to a community? What do I need to do? Do I need therapy? Do I need to heal from some trauma, from some past hurts in order to come
Mhm.
out of this phase of my life?
Mhm.
One has to be intentional about all these questions and
Okay.
and then have a roadmap, a plan to come out of it.
Okay. I love that. I love that. Listeners, don't go anywhere because I've got a great guest on that's talking with us about giving us some very good information. So I want you to hold on because I want to take this opportunity to ask Toby uh, how you can make contact with him uh, to learn more about his Mirror Talk podcast. So, Toby, would you kind of share that with listeners at this time?
Oh yes. So we are available. I'm in the pod. You can reach out to me personally on Instagram or through email or even through our website. On our website, there's a contact form where you could, fill it out and reach out to me directly. The emails comes to my inbox directly. So our website is mirrortalkpodcast.com. It's all one word together, mirrortalkpodcast.com. And on Instagram, you could follow us on at mirrortalk.podcast. And there you could also send us a DM and it reaches out to me or to someone that helps us with our social media, but it gets to me actually at the end.
Okay. Well, thank you so very much, listeners. I trust that you got that information. Um, Toby, let me kind of close out with ask you this question. You talk about the importance of having positive mirror talks,
Yes.
building a strong and supportive community, and finding one's purpose. Uh, Now, when you say that, why is it important to find your purpose?
I believe it's very important for us to find our purpose because it's it is what adds meaning to our lives. It's what adds color to our lives.
Oh,
It's what
wow.
keeps us, gives us a reason to wake up every morning.
Hmm.
you know,
Hmm.
it's what makes us, pull through hard times of our lives. Once you have a purpose, it's like having a lamp that you're holding on to, and whatever darkness comes, whatever wind blows, it stays on and helps you come out of the darkness of your life.
Hmm.
Purpose, having a purpose in life for me, it's fun because it makes you know what to do and how to spend your time also, I would say.
Hmm.
So yeah, having a purpose in life is very important.
Okay, okay. I love that. One of the things that I saw in your uh, profile, you said that the podcast, and you're talking about the Mirror Talk, provides a platform to learn from thought leaders and at the same time share this knowledge with everyone who wants to learn something new or improve or develop any areas of their lives. So my question to you is, are you interviewing people or are you basically talking about things that these thought leaders have shared and you're sharing it again with listeners of your podcast? Am I making sense?
Yes, you're making sense.
Okay.
At the moment, it's purely interviewing people.
Okay.
Um, I mean, so from time to time, I also share my reflection in solo
Okay.
episodes, but I've not done that honestly in a long time.
Okay.
But yeah, so it's a mixture.
Okay.
Normally, but at the moment it's just more of interviews, and at some points for special editions, I release like reflections on some
Hmm.
topics that
Hmm.
we've had in the past. Yeah.
Okay. Well, Toby, you've been an awesome guest. I appreciate you sharing and coming on the Deal by Me podcast. You've just shared some good information and enjoyed talking with you. And I hope you had a good experience today with the Deal by Me podcast.
Dr. James, it was a wonderful, time, speaking with you. I really appreciate this. Thank you so much for
Well,
this
well,
opportunity.
well, thank you so much. And there you have it. Toby is sharing with us today. And until next time, peace and blessings be with each of you.